I had through them. Because every day we get something inspired, subconsciously it goes inside. And coming from an agricultural background, you know that most of us will be like very upfront speakers. You understand now that though I come from TN Palayam, my life also was from only Gobichandi buying any properties. So you will understand every area, how the market is performing, how the prices are going based on every details, because all the data is in our Dubai land department. So we just pull every data on a daily basis. So we use the technology what I have been using, and I started.
According to me, once if I have an idea, for example, if I want to start a bakery, what I want to do is to work in a bakery to gain experience of the field, and so that I can implement few things when I start a bakery. So that's what something I will do.
That's one of the answers. Give
we make it very concise. So we make a very concise answer for that. So now the question is, to start a company, do you need an experience? Right? Because some of us, we worked in large companies before we start. Some of them from a family business background, they don't work, they directly join the family business. Maybe I want just 1 or 2 minutes response for that. Is experience required to start a business?
If it is a family business, then not required, because one among them in the family will be experience and you learn from them. If you are starting your own business, then you need some background. And if you have some background in other business and experience in other business, starting a new business in a different vertical is easy, because you will have the contacts, you know the people, and then you get the people and get the work done. So that's how I feel and I think.
experience வேணுமாங்கிறது ரெண்டு விதமா பார்க்கலாம். Sabri already சொல்லிட்டாரு. Like because he's in family business, he learns everything through his family and people are there to support. Ana experience is important to understand how you have to execute a business. எதுல வேணா ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம்ங்கற ஒரு நம்பிக்கை இருந்தா போதும் நான் நினைக்கிறேன். நம்பிக்கை is very important. And for an example, again, your colleague Sheman, for him, when he starts any industry, he doesn't need an experience. He needs people, and he knows it because he started the first with his experience. He worked in Shakti Sugars. He understands. So when you want to start the first business, definitely on the same field, necessarily not, but you need to have the experience in whichever field. And when you're starting that specific field, definitely you need to have a bit of experience and a confidence more to execute it. And for that also you need the right people in your business who has the attitude to go along with you. That is what makes a company successful.
So usually for companies, there are 2 types of founders you come across. Right? So there is a consumer based companies where you don't need to really have an experience. So the Facebook, it's just started out of Harvard, right? Because you understand the psyche of the consumer. Right? But if you are doing any enterprise business, then you need to understand.
Experience is really needed when you are entering into a core. Being in a business, second generation, being as a second generation, we were always traveling with my father, so each and everything. ஒரு தாயம் செய்யணும்னா கூட ஐ வில் டேக் அங்கே இருக்க பிராஸ் ராடை எடுத்து அதில் வந்து நானே ட்ரில் பண்ணுவேன், நானே வந்து நெர்லிங் பண்ணுவேன். ஏன்னா நீங்கள் அது ஸோ அப்போ வந்து வி ஹேட் சம் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் எப்படி பண்ணணும் எப்படி பார்க்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ சிமிலர்லி ஒரு அட்லீஸ்ட் மினிமம் ஒரு 1 or 2 year of experience will help us just to know real situation of that market and what is the future it is required and where we have to focus. இதை தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்காவது ஒரு மினிமம் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இஸ் நீடட்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன்.
ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் சொன்ன மாதிரி எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் வந்து நியூவான ஒரு ஃபீல்டுக்கு கண்டிப்பாக தேவைங்க. இப்போ நீங்கள் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸே இல்லைன்னா அதை எப்படி வந்து நம்ம அப்கிரேட் பண்ணுறது? இப்போ நீங்கள் வந்து
just one. So he's the biggest inspiration. And living here as an agriculturalist, even I was in IT, nothing satisfied me, and I hated EMEA region, still it didn't satisfy me. I was paid very well, it didn't satisfy me. There was always a vacuum in my mind that what am I doing? Living in Dubai with all the things I have, but I was not satisfied. And I left it, and it is a very big challenge when I left that position because I used to work for 12 hours or 14 hours a day, and it was so challenging. When I left, all of a sudden one day I felt, okay, I'm not going to do anything, I'm not going to continue. I just left, I didn't save my family too. And I didn't know what to do. After 6 months, I would say I was under too much of stress, depression, to do what? But there is something in me, which pushed me, I would say, and I lived in a very prominent place in Dubai. Most of you would have, I was living in Palm Jumeirah. Palm Jumeirah is a place where people go for, it is a man-made island inside a sea. In Dubai, people love to go there. And it has a 7-star Atlantis where all the Hollywood, Bollywood actors and actors, like on New Year. It is like very well known, right? So I started seeing the market. It was COVID. It gave me an opportunity. It is not just that thought was in me, but also something around me was helping. I knew that push was around the thing. And in the alchemy book, we all know even the universe will conspire if you have an idea to succeed, right? So that's how it started. And I started buying and flipping properties. I saw really what I earned maybe in 10 years. I
take time like next 1.5 hours to spend time with you. Right? So at least there is an opportunity cost for them to spend time with you. Sort of it's also disappointing for me because I thought over here we already have some sort of aspiration for an entrepreneur. But now we ended up in convincing you to become an entrepreneur. Which hopefully will do that. Right? So the next one, there is a huge set of volunteers. They were behind in putting together this show from our alumni batch. As I mentioned, we have been working on for the last 1 year in putting together the entire show. Right? Our first call happened 1 year ago. Right? And then I also want to thank all the volunteers from your batch. Say last night at around 9 p.m. when we are doing a registration, there were 10 people, volunteers. They were waiting there for the registration. You have to put a pat on their back when you meet any of the volunteers, right? Because people might think all the learning happens in the classroom, but by being in volunteers in selfless act, because that will teach you a lot of things. If you get an opportunity, you be a volunteer for some event, right? Because I asked, okay, how many of you are attending the sessions? They said no one, because we have to do the volunteer, right? So because they are doing the work, you guys are sitting there, so you have to thank them, right? So the last, who are sort of the faceless people, for helping us in putting together the show. So I just want to thank you, right? Because anything has to start with your gratitude, so that's what I don't want to do a thank at the end. I want to start at the beginning. For the session, for the actual session, ஒரு company start பண்ணணும்னா என்ன வேணும்? Like if you want to become an entrepreneur, what is the first thing that you need? The answer is not money. Okay? So, சொல்லுங்க ஆன்சர் பண்ண பார்க்கலாம். சத்தம் சொல்லுங்க. நீ மைக் இருக்கா?